Welcome to another old Airsoft stuff. Today I want to talk about the M3 grease gun by way of history, a lightweight, small submachine gun developed to replace the more expensive Thompson. Mine is made by ICS. I got it used and in pretty good condition. And playing with it and using it, I've developed a few observations that I'd like to pass on. The biggest strange thing I've found is the battery. The battery for this particular gun is very unique. It's a very small spot. This is where the battery hatch is. A very small spot for the battery to be accommodated. You unscrew the cap, and then you have to put in a very oddly shaped 3-component battery. Others won't fit. Let me illustrate how it works. By way of further illustration, the spot here for the battery is not big enough to accommodate one of these regular sized, just physically won't go in. And I've noticed that with these guys, little lipos, thin lipos, they'll go in, simple enough, but their length is just too long. They're pressed in all the way to get all the wires in. So, and I haven't investigated whether there's a shorter version for these lipos. These are a little puffy too, which probably didn't help, but this is your standard issue. So it's only this proprietary, I don't know if it's proprietary, it's only this battery that comes with, or is included, or suggested rather, to come with the gun that I've been able to make to fit. And so I tend to have just one of these and keep it charged, and that's the duration of the gun. I'm going to try to explain my technique for putting the battery in the ICS M3. So first, there's this nice little fuse. If you look, there's going to be a little bit of space right in this area inside. You first really have to tuck that in a way and get all the wires associated with the lead tucked down into this portion. Next, the way I found the best way to do it is take one of the long battery parts, slide it in right on top of what you just did, slide the next one in next to that, and then hopefully you've left some room in the top spot right there for the third little one, and that slots way back in there. Pardon me. Connect the battery leads like so, and then that goes with the extra wire there we go, conveniently into that spot there. It's still tight. You got to kind of wiggle it around. If you do that, then you get lucky. There we go. Push it all in. And then the cap slots into place. Nice and stiff. Ta-da. The thing that I worry about is it's really tight when you're pulling the battery out. I always worry about pulling this little guy too hard and losing, you can see this area right there. Makes me nervous, but I don't know what else to do. So there you go. Feature-wise, the gun has this lever on the right side. It releases the tension on the spring and it opens the hop up, which is a rotary. It's a little tricky in that you press it down here to release it. Now, when I got the gun, I got it used, and this inside here has a little plastic part that links up and was broken, and is what I'll consider to be a weak part of this gun. as these are, from what I understand, commonly broken and easily broken. You put it back and push the lever forward, which you might be inclined to do without realizing this screw is what releases it. You'll crack this piece. My OCD, I had to find a replacement. The only place I could find it was a website overseas in the UK, but it was a simple fix. It goes into this housing here and slots into the trigger area. So don't forget, if you get one, that's how that works, and not the other way around. This is cosmetic. The opening and closing on the real gun is the safety, but here it's just cosmetic. So this is the M3's magazine. It's a high cap, pretty standard. I do not know how many it carries, but it carries quite a few. The Thompson mag that comes with most cyber guns, etc., is, as you can see, shorter, and it's not compatible. And the MP40, which I understand also works with the Sten, I don't know that for sure, also different dimension-wise and not compatible. Not too many other features. The mag release is this big honking button here. It's very effective. There's a collapsing or expanding stock, which works by pressing this lever here. It comes out, press it again, and it comes out completely if you want to do that. I will point out that I've learned from gameplay that if this screw is not Loctited in, it can come out and you can lose this. And that happened to me. Fortunately, I saw the screw come off and the top come off. It's a retaining piece that I'm sure would be hard to find another alternative for if you lose it. So if you get the gun, especially, well, I don't know about new, but if it's used, I would check the tightness of that screw to make sure it's not going anywhere when you don't want it to. I can't leave well enough alone. I've taken my M3 apart, cleaned it out just to make sure. I do like the ICS internals. They look very higher quality than like a cyber gun or some other clone. This is a real odd little gearbox. Trigger is just a switch. It's not physically connected, but it's an on-off switch, which means it is only auto. There's no semi-auto, no single shot. But the rate of fire is low enough that a quick pop will give you one shot most of the time. And, you know, so if there's a field that requires you to have semi-auto, you're not going to be able to use this unless you kind of trick them by showing it. Sights are basic, just a post at the front, little peep in the back. Sling mount, I don't know if I've done it correctly, but that's what I did. It comes with a sling, but it looks a little too much like nylon to me. On this one, the only thing I've done is kind of check the shimming and the cylinder compression. And then I did add a TNT barrel from Swit Airsoft, because I love those guys. So there you have it. It shoots 380, 400-ish, and puts the BB out pretty good distance. With the new barrels, fairly accurate, probably within 100 yards is best you're going to hope for, or at least that's the only time I've ever really used it, was in closer range. So it's not a DMR.